Hi, I'm Randy Wooden, and welcome to another in our Edge Library series, talking with mid-career folks and dealing with that difficult question of tell me about yourself. And this is our second part in this question, and this time we'll get into details about GEESE. First of all, quick recap. We earlier had talked about the importance of the question, how to get into an interview and how to ease in without appearing nervous and rambling and all of those things. So it's really an opportunity for you to talk briefly about your professional background, not so much on the other side, which would be the personal side. Most employers really don't want to go there, particularly early in the interview. So let's get into GEESE. The G is greeting. You're human, act it. Don't just start into some nervous answer that you've prepared. Act like it's a conversation, and that's really what it is. So, Mr. Employer, I appreciate the opportunity to come in and talk with you, or just something that allows for them to relax a little bit too, and for you to let them know that you're okay. Now, the first E would be education. Talk a little bit about your education. Don't go into a lot of detail. Don't talk the classes you took. Just mention that you're a college graduate. If the school is a local school, then great. That may lead to more dialogue. In most cases, if you went to school outside the area, they're not going to necessarily know much about the school anyway. So you might just mention that I'm a graduate of blank school and I majored in blank. Now, there's so many it depends when it comes to answering interview questions. And as it relates to this one of tell me about yourself, look, if you don't have the education they're looking for, then don't come out and say I don't have it. Talk about what you do have that dovetails nicely with what the employer is looking for. And as it relates to your major, if your major was something that is totally different from what your job might be, then I don't think it really helps you to come out and talk about what you majored in if it's not pertaining to the job you're talking about. So you might just mention I'm a college graduate, or that I earned a BA from whatever institution. So that's education. Same thing with training. I get into questions about training. What happens if I took let's say a training class to be a CNA sometime in my past? Well, I'm not going to mention all of my education, especially if I'm not interviewing for a job in healthcare. I don't want to mention something that I did that was apart from that. And also don't get into whether it's CPR, that sort of thing. Don't get into that at this point. Don't get into Dale Carnegie. Don't get into all of the different seminars and workshops and certifications that you might have. This answer is going to be brief. So that's your education. The second E would be your experience. Now, as a mid-career person, you're going to have probably anywhere from, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, clear up to maybe 20 years of experience. So what I would do is I would tend to mention the overall round number in terms of years of experience, and then of that, a subgroup of that pertains to the job at hand. So you might say I have over 15 years of professional experience, including nearly 10 in blank, which again is something that you're sitting there applying for. So that's a little bit about your experience. Remember, don't go into excruciating detail about where you worked, why you left, what you did on the job. There's time for that later, and I don't think they're really interested so much in exactly what you're saying now as much as how you're coming across as you say it, and so I think that's something to keep in mind. Now you're into the S. The S would be your skills. Now I would kind of pull that S out of the equation for a moment and stick in yet another acronym, but just bear with me for a second. The acronym being ASK, A-S-K, A-S-K. The A, again, they ask you a question, so why not throw the ASK acronym back in? So here in the GEESE, you're at the S part, you drop in ASK. The A stands for accomplishments or achievements. The S would stand for skills, and the K for knowledge. And all you're doing is teasing what you're going to talk about later. So you could say, throughout my career, I've gained knowledge, I've certainly developed skills, and I've had accomplishments that I'm proud of and would hope to get a chance to talk about. That's pretty easy to say. Now you're into the final component, and that's the final E, and that would be an employer question. So I would encourage you to repeat your greeting briefly. Just again, as I mentioned, I was looking forward to coming in and meeting with you, and then throw a question back at them. And the question I would ask is, could you tell me a little more about what you're looking for? Not necessarily could you tell me more about the position, or could you describe the job? There are reasons for that. Namely, I've already read the job description, and I'm sure they're going to tell me about the job. What I'm kind of curious about, though, some of the intangibles, some of the character traits of a successful person in the job. And there's no real nice way to ask that right off the bat that doesn't sound very theoretical and just kind of goofy in a way. So I prefer to just ask the kind of fence riding question, which is, could you tell me what you're looking for? And hope that they may also touch on those characteristics. You've got to figure, though, that they will tell you about the position, and that's probably what most employers will do, but at least you gave it a shot. So that's GEESE. Thank you again. I appreciate the chance to come in and meet with you. A little bit about me. I'm a graduate of blank college with, again, round number of years of experience, including X subgroup of that pertains to the position at hand. Then you could, again, mention that throughout my career, I've certainly developed skills, I've gained knowledge, and I've had accomplishments that I'm proud of, and some on my resume and some that aren't. Hope to get a chance to share those with you. But like I said, I was looking forward to coming in and discussing the opportunity. I wonder if you could tell me a little bit more about what you were looking for. And that's it. Now you're off and running. That's going to wrap it up for this segment in the Edge Library series, dealing with mid-career folks and the Tell Me About Yourself question, Part 2. I'm Randy Wooden. Thanks for watching.